Are you an empath and you're struggling with intrusive thoughts where you have all of a sudden you have all these thoughts that don't make sense, and it's like it's non-stop, it's constantly just coming in and coming in and coming in, and you're having a hard time stopping it, and it makes you feel very frustrated, overwhelmed, stressed, and wondering maybe if you're losing your mind? Now, if this is you, then this video is for you, because in this video I want to talk a little bit more about a empath survival tip on really dealing with those intrusive thoughts, because let's face it, they're really not yours. So if you want to learn how to really deal with them, how to cope with them, how to get rid of them, then stay tuned, because in this video I'm going to give you some tips on how you can do that, how you can cope with them, so and also let them go. So stay tuned. Hello, the beautiful soul. In case you don't know me, my name is Kay Sanders. I'm a divine messenger and celestial healer, and also an empath, and I assist awakening souls on their spiritual awakening journey to really step into their power, awaken to their power within, step into their power, and create the success, the abundance, and freedom in the life that they are looking for, all while making a bigger impact. So if this is you, if you're on your spiritual awakening journey, if you are looking for some guidance, please be sure to subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I release new content, because that's really what I focus on. That's what my channel is all about, assisting you to really make sense of all that you're experiencing so you can really embrace this journey. But going back to what I was saying, if you're an empath, and I'm assuming you are since you're here listening, you may have those intrusive thoughts that have come out of nowhere, and you're wondering, where did that just come from? Is this me? Am I thinking that? Why am I thinking that? You may have all that stuff, and you may be wondering, why is that? Where are they coming from? And you're trying to make sense of all that. So let's start with, why is this happening? Well, as empath, you have those antennas. You know, you're picking up a lot of stuff that is not even yours. So you may be going somewhere, and all of a sudden you have all these weird thoughts that don't make any sense. That's probably not yours. Those thoughts are probably not yours. They're probably from someone that you're close by. Now, when I first became aware of that I have this gift of reading people's thoughts and picking up people's thoughts, I didn't know that, because it's not like that you're hearing their voice in your head. It's just you're picking up thoughts, and then they're turning into your own beliefs, your own thoughts and whatnot. So it's not very apparent that you're actually picking up other people's thoughts. So if you're new to this whole being an empath, then really stay with me, because I want you to know that a lot of the stuff that you're picking up, a lot of the things you're feeling and hearing and believing and thinking or whatnot, is most likely not even yours. If it doesn't make sense to you, then that's a good indicator that it's not yours. So let me go into those 5 tips to really start coping with, or stop those intrusive thoughts, because you don't just want to cope with them, you want to stop them so they don't affect you. Because let's face it, when you have all these different thoughts, they are not serving you, they're not good for you, they're only affecting you negatively, and we don't want it. So we want to stop those intrusive thoughts. So the first and most important step is you've got to become aware. When you have those thoughts or even feelings don't make sense, you want to stop yourself, tune in, and become aware. Okay, what is going on? Because when you become aware that you have those intrusive thoughts, well, then you have the power of choice. I always talk about it in basically everything I do, is awareness is key, because when you have awareness, you have power of choice. You can do something about it. What you can ignore it and let it go. Maybe what you've been doing up until this point, you know, and we all do it in our life. We ignore certain things and we just let it go, but we also have it within us to do something about it. So when you become aware that all of a sudden you're having those intrusive thoughts, those thoughts that don't make sense, that are not related, don't feel like you, and you're wondering where is it coming from, that is when you can become aware of that. That is powerful, because that puts you then into the driver's seat, where you can then decide, what do you want? Which brings me to the second step here. Question everything. I mean, literally, question everything. Have like one of those 1,000 questions, not just one of those. Have those 1,000 questions. Ask, is this mine, or is it someone else's? And here, this may not become apparent right away. Here, what I like to do is I tune in, and whenever I have a thought, I tune in and like, okay, is this mine? And I just wait for a feeling. And you will just then know. I mean, if you're really, the more you tune in, the easier it will become. So when you tune in and you ask, is this mine? You may get a sensation, you may get a feeling, you may get an inner, like a no or whatnot. It may be different for you. Now, every person experiences this differently, gets different guidance, that gets different nudges, but by you just tuning in and asking, is this mine? Like I said, if it doesn't make sense to you what you're thinking, then most likely it's not yours. Then you can just send it back to sender with consciousness attached. But you want it in question. Let's say it is yours. You can then also ask, is this of truth? Do you want it and believe this? Do you want to continue believing this or not? You have that power when you have those intrusive thoughts and you have become aware of it, and then you start questioning it. Maybe there's a lesson behind it. Maybe there's a message behind it. Maybe there is a gift behind it. Ask those questions. Become the detective of your own mind. Question everything, because sometimes it may be your ego trying to have a little fun with you, or it could then also be something that you're picking up. Now, if you have picked up something for a very long time, it may have become your truth. You made it your truth because, well, if up until this point you didn't know that, maybe you picked up some stuff, then the more you're picking up on certain things, not knowing you're picking it up, well, then eventually you believe it. You make it your truth. You make it your belief, part of your belief system. So here, then you can ask, is this of truth? So let's say you have a belief that, oh, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. Is this of truth? Probably not, right? You can do something about it. You could do something. You could take that next step. And yes, you are good enough to do something. So when you start questioning, is this of truth? Is this, well, first of all, is this mine or is this something else? Am I picking this one up from somewhere? Then you ask, is this of truth? Most likely you're going to get a no, right? Or if you, let's say, have a fear of, well, if I do that, people may judge me. Is this of truth? Do you have absolute proof that this is what's going to happen? Probably not, right? That's our ego having a lot of fun with us. And then when you ask, do you want to continue believing this? Do you want to continue having this kind of thought, having it part of your belief system? Like I said, you're truly that powerful. So decide if you don't want it no more, which then brings me to the third step, is decide to let it go. If you don't want to believe it no more, make a decision to let it go. Now, you may need to decide more often and maybe daily whenever you're having a thought, reiterate, no, it's done. I'm drawing a line. I don't want this no more. I want to let it go. It's not mine. I don't want it. You get to decide that every single day. Every single time you have that thought, you get to decide what you want instead. So if, for example, you have this thought that I'm not good enough, and this is really a thought that is yours, then you can decide, no, I'm good enough to at least get started, right? Now, you don't need to be an absolute expert yet to do something or have massive certifications or whatnot to do something. You're already good enough to start something. You get to change. You get to decide what you want instead, what you want to experience instead. So if a thought keeps bothering you, if it keeps running on repeat, it keeps affecting you, you don't have to allow it to do that. You can decide to, no, I'm done with this. I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to let that go. You are truly that powerful. Now, I just want to say, it's not going to be easy. It's going to take time. I cannot tell you how many times my coach back then had told me that I need to watch my thoughts because I was always talking very lackful. And I mean, he always pissed me off when he said that because I wasn't aware. I wasn't in the aware stage yet, but whenever I did become aware, I then changed. I was like, okay, no, I have a negative thought again. No, I don't want this. What do I want instead? So it becomes easier with practice. Now, I'm still not perfect. I'm still struggling sometimes with intrusive thoughts as well, and it takes me some time too, but it's getting better. Every day when you do this practice, it gets better and better and better, and also easier. The first most important thing is the awareness piece. Everything after that is rather easy, but the awareness is usually what we struggle with. So that's why if you can become aware, that is the most important piece to this, because then you can do something about it. So going back to what I was saying, the third piece is decide to let it go. If you don't want it no more, let it go. And then it brings me to the fourth step, is then rephrase your thoughts. So let's say you have this thought that I'm not good enough to do this. Well, I'm good enough to at least get started, right? What if I allow this to be easy? Now, there's an energy behind that too. So if first you say, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, it's very heavy energy, right? But then if you rephrase it to, well, I'm good enough to at least get started. And what if I would allow this to be easy? What if I already know what I need to do? When you rephrase it to that, it opens the doors to possibilities. Because like I said, you don't need to know everything right now to do something. You can open the doors to allow things to unfold. But rephrase your thoughts. That then also shifts your energy, because when you have all these negative, intrusive thoughts, well, they make you feel kind of lousy, right? They drain you because, well, it's heavy energy. Negative thoughts is heavy energy. Well, it makes you feel pretty lousy. So when you then rephrase them into positive, so let's say you have a thought about all of a sudden, I can't afford this is too expensive, I'm broke, and yada, yada, yada. Well, that is also going to derail you, because then you're going to worry about how I'm going to pay my bills, where's the money going to come from, and those type of things. So then here, when you become aware and you say, I don't want to feel this way no more because I know this is not healthy for me, then you can rephrase it and, well, even though the money is not here yet, I know I'm always supported. I know I'm always protected. I always have the money that I need to pay my bills. Even though I don't know right now how it's going to get here, I trust that the universe has my back, that everything I need, that all my needs are always met. Or the money that I need to pay for this is already on its way. If it's meant to be, it will be. If you allow it like that and you turn it over to the greater something, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, you allow yourself to just trust it's going to show up. And then you're actually also lifting your vibration as well to allow yourself to receive it, because anything that you want, if you're always having those negative thoughts, you're not going to be able to get it. You're resisting it actually. So when you rephrase your thoughts, well, for one, you feel much better, and then also you're actually starting to attract more of that. So that's why this is so important, how to shift things around. So that's also a part of how you can stop those intrusive thoughts, by rephrasing it into something better, something that you actually want, because you get to decide what you want. You truly get to decide what you want to keep in your mind. Which then brings me to the fifth and final step in this, is to become centered. Do something whenever you're noticing you're having those intrusive thoughts. Get centered. Become present in the here and now. Really tune in. And you may even focus on your heart center and really focus on the here and now. Focus on the present moment. Because that then also, what that does is it tunes out the ego. It tunes out whatever's going on up here. Because you truly get to decide what is it you want to have up here, right? If whatever is up here doesn't suit you, doesn't feel right, you get to tune it out. And by you becoming present, by you tuning in, you get to tune out your ego. Because like I mentioned earlier, some of those thoughts that you have picked up on for a very long time, you made part of your belief system. And ego likes to play tricks on you, telling you all these things. So by you becoming present and in the moment, you're tuning out your ego. And I also want to invite you to check out a video on how to overcome the ego. And I also share some tips in there, some steps on how you can do that. So if you've been challenged with really your ego running the show and always derailing you, check out that video. The link is in the description below. But basically what I want you to know is, us empath, we are like a massive radio station, right? We tune into all these different frequencies. We're picking up on all these different thoughts and frequencies from all these different people, and even from the collective level, that can really affect us and cause us to have those so-called intrusive thoughts. But just like with a radio, on a radio station, you get to pick what a radio station you want. So let's say you're listening to the radio and you don't like the station. Well, what do? You switch to a different station. It's the same thing with your mind, with your thoughts. If you're all of a sudden having those intrusive thoughts that keep coming in and coming in and coming in and coming in, and you're like, oh my God, change the radio station. I cannot tell you, there was times I didn't even want to be alone with myself because I had all these thoughts, and it sounds pretty bad if you don't want to be alone with yourself, right? So I had always these thoughts that I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to compartmentalize them. I didn't know where did they come from. I mean, it was like non-stop, always. When I woke up in the middle of the night, I had these thoughts and I couldn't sleep no more. I mean, it was like someone was screaming in my mind. It was not until I started these practices of really becoming aware and like tuning it out, like, no, I don't want this no more, and really becoming centered and changing the station. You are truly that powerful. I just want you to know that you are truly that powerful. If you don't like the station you're on, if you don't like what's going on in your mind, change the station. You can focus on something positive. You can start doing positive affirmations. Do whatever you need to do to change the dialogue in your mind, or tune it out completely. Like I said, check out that video about overcoming your ego. I think you're going to like it. There's some tips in there on how to do that, on how to really put the ego on the back seat, basically. So it's really powerful. But you can't stop these intrusive thoughts, but it starts with awareness. Start becoming more aware when you have those thoughts, when you have these, when you're not feeling okay. Usually when it's difficult for you to become aware when you have those intrusive thoughts, pay attention to how you feel. If one moment you felt great and next moment you're feeling totally the opposite and like, what happened? Become aware of the feeling. The feeling may be easier for you to tune into first before you can become aware of whatever mind tricks your ego is playing with you. But awareness, if you can work on awareness, that's the first step. That's key to everything, because with awareness comes the power of choice, because then you can do something about it. You can choose to course correct. But I want to invite you, if you have any questions about what I shared in this video, or if you have any other questions about being an empath, how to cope with everything, about your spiritual awakening, about the journey, about any of those things, feel free to leave a comment below. I would love to do a video for you explaining and sharing some insights, some tips with you to help you on this journey. Like I said, that's what my channel is all about. And be sure to subscribe too, so you can get notified whenever I release new content. But just know that you're on this journey for a reason, and you can cope with whatever's going on. You can actually stop those intrusive thoughts. You can step into your power and do what you feel called to do that is to your highest and greatest good, without being bogged down by all that stuff that comes with being an empath. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here, and check out that video about overcoming your ego, and I will see you again in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant, successful day. Namaste.